Hi, my name is Emily Noordyke. I'm a Varroa Project Officer with the National Varroa Mite Management Program. Today, we're going to talk about how to do the sugar shake method to monitor for Varroa mites. For this method, you'll need a few different things. You'll need a container to shake the bees into. You'll also need a half-cup scoop to take approximately a 300 sample of bees. And then you'll also need your sugar shake container with a mesh lid, as well as icing sugar. Preferentially, you want icing sugar, but icing mixture works as well. And then you'll also need a tablespoon scoop to measure out sugar. And you'll need a white bucket so that when you shake out the mites, you can see them. All right, so I've opened up my hive down to the brood nest, and then I'm going to prep the container. So you want to take a scoop of sugar before you grab your bees. So you're looking for about a tablespoon or 5 grams. And it's important to get the sugar through the mesh just to break up any of the clumps. So with this method, you want to make sure the sugar isn't clumped. In fact, this method doesn't work as well if you have a big nectar flow and your bees have a lot of nectar that can clump up the sugar. And also, if it's really, really humid, that can also cause the sugar to clump, and you might not actually get a very accurate result. All right, so we've got our container prepped. Time to select some brood. All right, so I am looking for 1 to 2 frames of brood for this method. And we want a good combination of capped and uncapped brood. That's where our nurse bees are most likely to be, and we want to find nurse bees for this method. They're the most likely to have the mites. All right. So I'll shake both frames of bees into our container. And I'll let them sit for a little while because the first bees that fly off are our forager bees. And that means that we'll have more nurse bees left over to sample, which are the ones who are more likely to have the mites. All right, so now we've got our container of bees and we've let the forager bees fly off so we can take our half-cup scoop. And I've also got my container here. I'll get that open. And we want to make sure that we're fully coating the bees in sugar. So we're going to roll them in the sugar until they look fully coated. All right, those look good to me. So now we'll set them aside for 1 minute. All right, so now that we've left our bees to sit for 1 minute, we will shake them vigorously into this bucket of water. And we want to make sure we're shaking vigorously for 1 minute. All right, so we've just shaken those for a minute. And now we're going to add another tablespoon of powdered sugar to the bees so that we do it again. So I'll roll them again and make sure they're fully coated. So we've left them to sit aside for a minute again, and now we're going to shake them vigorously over the water again for a minute. So now if you see any clumps of sugar remaining in the water, you'll want to break those up. So you can use your hive tool or something else to break anything up. If you don't see clumps, that's okay. You don't have to do this step. But you want to make sure that any mites that could possibly be stuck in the clumps are visible. So now that we've shaken our bees, we can see that we've recovered 1 mite from this sugar shake. And it's important to note that It is not a non-lethal method. Some bees will die from a sugar shake because their respiratory system gets clogged by the sugar, and also you do have to shake them quite vigorously to make sure you're getting the most accurate result. You want to make sure you're getting the correct mite load so that you can base your management decisions the best way that you possibly can.